Hello everyone, Prime here, and today we're going to be talking about the worst ways that you or I could possibly die in Mayan mythology. No, I did not mean for that to rhyme. This is one reason why I should probably use scripts. But let's get into this. Apwash was one of the rulers of Xibalba, and when he, like the other lords, wasn't relishing in the deaths of his many foolish playthings, i.e. us, he would go above Xibalba, which was just underneath the earth, and terrorize the inhabitants of Earth for a bit. You see, some demons from Xibalba, or the lords of Xibalba rather, got a kick out of killing us, plaguing us with diseases, or just inflicting some sort of strife upon us. Apwash was usually accompanied by a wolf, or more commonly, an owl. He had a special thing for those animals. And if you saw an owl when it was pretty cold out at night, and you also smelt a pretty bad smell, because Apwash is quite smelly, then you were probably screwed, or you should get running, because Apwash probably was around and would probably do something horrible to you. Just as an extra side note, Apwash was friends with gods of war and disease, so probably not the nicest guy you could ever know. Speaking of Apwash, one of the lords of Xibalba in charge of the 9th level of Xibalba, which is essentially hell or the underworld for Mayans, if a person were to die, they would probably end up coming to this place. And it's not very nice. It's covered in all sorts of probably not very enjoyable places, such as rivers made out of pus, or rivers made out of blood, or just not very nice to look at mountains. You see the theme that's kind of popping up with this place. The lords of Xibalba, so including Apwash, enjoyed to, well, put people through many different trials. There were 6 houses in Xibalba which kind of contained all of these trials and tribulations and tests, and the lords of Xibalba, as I said, enjoyed watching people go through these things. Such as Xibalanque's father and his companion, who ended up losing their lives in Xibalba after they failed some of the trials, and eventually Xibalanque and his brother themselves ended up dying to these trials as well. But the difference is that Xibalanque eventually realized that, or Hunhanapu, his brother, or Hunapu, I'm always going to say Hunhanapu when I really mean Hanapu, but they realized that the gods of Xibalba were just enjoying putting them through all these tests and wanted to see them fail, so eventually they failed on purpose, because it was the only way that anything was going to end. But these trials could include many things, from trying to traverse a river of bones, or the previously mentioned rivers of blood or pus, or trying to survive a trial which involves you walking across fire or avoiding spinning blades. These weren't very nice places to be. As such, like Apwash, not a very good way to go in Mayan mythology. You have Sapakna, capable of rising mountains and potentially also destroying mountains. And then you have Cabrakan, who spends most of his days picking up a mountain and just chucking it anywhere he feels like. So if one of those mountains were to land on you thanks to Cabrakan, well, that would suck for sure. Or Sapakna took a more active role in slaying some lesser gods, toppling the supports of their houses so that the house would cave in on them. That doesn't sound like a very nice way to go either. So either way, if you meet one of these guys, probably not going to have a very pleasant death. Next up, we have a beast in the shape of a man. Or at least, a man in the shape of a beast. The Hui Shivo has the ability to turn into a variety of different monsters, but most commonly, they turn into something that resembles Kononos, if Kononos was a giant. Goat man, goat face, goat hooves, goat fur, but the rest of him is pretty much a man, kind of similar to the Minotaur from Greek mythology. But usually it doesn't necessarily target humans. It has no problem destroying human homes or stuff if we get in its way, but typically it's usually after livestock, farmyard animals, things like that. So, as long as you provide those, you won't be getting crushed or strangled or eaten alive, because I heard that these beasts tend to favor human brains when they do attack humans. You know, popping off the head, having a little look inside, eating the brain, leaving the body for wherever else might be left for it. I was actually going to do a bit of a darker telling of how they did that, but I decided not to do it because, well, I'm doing enough kind of dark things on the channel right now, so yes. Next up we have the Awitsalot. It's a Mayan beast, but before we continue, can you swim? Well, if you can't, then this thing is probably the worst thing you're ever going to hear about in this video. You see, this beast usually lives around the waters, and its favorite thing to do, as it has an extra hand on its tail, is swim underwater, somehow bait you into the water because it has the ability to mimic the sound of a baby or the sound of a woman, so it will try to bait you near the water after you try to investigate the noise it will make, drag you inside, drown you, and once you're dead, it will feast on the parts of your corpse that it will enjoy. And when I say once you're dead, it might not necessarily drown you. This is a dog-like creature, and it's got claws. What do you do with claws? Well, human beings don't very much like things with claws necessarily, so it could kill you without drowning you, though drowning you is its preferred method, and usually it leaves its corpses eyeless, fingerless, and, most disturbing of all, toothless. Why it does this, I have no idea. But, if it does end your life, apparently those that are slain by this beast end up in some sort of paradise. So there's that upside. I'm also not sure if this beast applies to Mayan mythology, but it's an Aztec beast. That should be noted. And with that, that's all the beasts I have to share with you. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, there were a few more beasts I could have added, such as Camazots, a frog-like monster that apparently can use human weapons, and apparently possesses human intelligence to boot. A smaller creature that doesn't actually inflict any physical damage, but can kick your soul out of your body and leave it wandering for as long as you would have naturally lived, which sounds incredibly fun, but I didn't, just for the sake of keeping the video nice and short. So, if you want more like this, or want more videos like this for another Pantheon, don't forget to leave a request in the comment section down below. Now, until the next video, have a very, very good day. I've been Prime, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.